Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another current events segment. So we finally decided on a name.
Midnight breakfast. So everybody eats brings you midnight breakfast.
Everybody Eats brings you Midnight Breakfast, our current events series. So we finally decided on a name. So that's what we're sticking with. I like it. He likes it. E-Man likes it. So on today's episode, we're going to be covering a couple of things. Two main things are going to be NFTs, right? So we'll be covering that. And also CCIV, right? So if you guys want to learn more, make sure you're staying tuned. Make sure you're following us on all platforms. On Instagram, everybodyeats.pod, Twitter, EBE Pod, YouTube, Everybody Eats Show. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you watch, listen, stream, whatever your podcast, wherever you find your podcast, Everybody Eats Show, we're on there. So make sure you're checking in, staying up to date, following us, and make sure you are sharing with your friends. Don't be selfish. Everybody eats. All right. So those are housekeeping items, you could say. So let's get right into it, right? So the first, and before we introduce our guest, so Manuel Perez is back with us on today's midnight breakfast. So say what's up to the people.
Hey, well, first off, you gotta have like the radio voice. You gotta start off with it's midnight breakfast. I gotta give him that swag in there. Yeah, I'm excited for tonight's midnight breakfast. This is the third midnight breakfast, and I'm ready to dive right into it.
Appreciate it. So on that note, NFTs, right? So you put me onto game literally yesterday, right? You're like, yo, you gotta get into this, you gotta look this up, NFTs. And crazy as you said that, then what else? EYL, they did their episode with Gary V and they covered NFTs a little bit. So definitely the timing was right. So if you could let people know, if you could kind of like describe a little bit or break down like what are NFTs, because this is something new and it's going to be for the future. So if you could kind of like break that down a little bit from what you know, and then we'll talk about it.
For sure. So NFT stands for non-fungible tokens, and non-fungible tokens. First, let's go back to the word fungible. Fungible means that something has equal value for its other significant part. So if I have $1 bill, if you have a dollar bill, it's fungible because we can both swap it and they both hold the same amount of value. Non-fungible, in a sense, it doesn't mean you can't trade it for equal value. If I'm driving a Camaro and you're driving a Dodge Challenger, those two cars will be different in value and aren't exactly the same. So in a digital sense, we're talking about non-fungible tokens. Um, one Bitcoin will always be equal to one Bitcoin. The currency price might change, but the fact remains that one Bitcoin will also be equal to one Bitcoin. One Doggy Coin will always be equal to one Doggy Coin. And in a digital space, non-fungible assets means that these digital tokens, um, they aren't fungible. They are limited, um, and they hold value. And starting the background of it, it started back in 2017 with CryptoPunks. These were CryptoPunks were the first NFTs available on the market, and those were available for a set amount of price of Ethereum. But now the prices like skyrocket today. They're all sold out, and what happens is um, you buy them using Ethereum. You connect your wallet to it, your cryptocurrency, and you're able to buy it, hold it, and sell it. And because you're limited, which right, we know back if we talk about economics and talk about supply and demand, if something is limited and rare and scarce in number, the values can go up. Like, well, why do Air Jordans sell out all the time, right? The ones that are quick striked, especially like the ones that get retroed from the OGs, they're scarce in value. Uh, so take that same principle and apply it in a digital space. If you have something that's limited in number, that value will soar astronomically.
For sure. So to kind of build on that, so definitely what I've seen and what I've read so far is that NFTs, the dope part about them is that they can be used, or I don't know the exact proper word, if it's represent or they can be used, but pretty much they can like represent from art pieces, um, video game achievements, real estate. So the example that I saw was, for example, if you take an art piece, right? I think art was one of the most common uses of an NFT, right? Take an art piece like the Mona Lisa. There is only one Mona Lisa. There's only one original Mona Lisa, right? No matter if you make a if you make one of your own, if you buy one, get a picture online, regardless, no matter what, there's only one original Mona Lisa. Even if you try to copy it, it is not the original, right? So an NFT is like Mona Lisa plus like, every other famous like Starry Night, there's only one Starry Night, there's only one Mona Lisa, there's only one of those original assets. So even if you try to replicate it and try to make a counterfeit, you cannot, because there's only one original, right? And each NFT has like certain information that's like not allowed to, you just can't replicate it or try to counterfeit it, because it has like unique information, like I guess like a fingerprint, right? You can't replicate a fingerprint. So that's what makes them valuable. One is the fact that you can't counterfeit them. One, and then two, again, like you said, they are limited, right? So obviously, the reason certain like cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, the reason some of those hold value is because there's a limited amount. Granted, it might be like in the millions or billions, but there's still a limit. There's a finite amount. After they're all purchased, it's clipped. You can't buy anymore. Unlike Dogecoin, I'm pretty sure it's infinite at this point. So like,
all 5 cents of it.
All 5 cents, right? So the creator, he literally like he just made Dogecoin for whatever, but it's yeah, literally he just made it for fun. He literally made it for fun. I think he said he made it in like 3 hours, but like
wow.
Anyway, but again, Dogecoin, like there's infinite amount, so like the value of it's never really going to go that high until they put a cap. But to go back to NFTs, that's why they hold value, because they can like represent like real estate, art pieces, collectibles, right? So if you think about buying and trading like baseball cards, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards,
Oh man, I have
comic
so
books,
many
art pieces, even like real estate, right? I guess like if you think about those, like those are all things that we tend to buy and sell real estate, buy and sell, like things that you trade and buy and sell and things like that. So from what I understand, is NFT is going to be that digital version of that, digital collectibles, right? So and you can buy and sell them, I think you just said, like with cryptocurrencies.
So sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but
yeah,
you mentioned Ethereum. So would you have to buy, let's say, a NFT piece costs like $100? Would you have to then throw in $100 worth of Ethereum into like, would you have to purchase $100 worth of Ethereum then to go purchase that said NFT?
Oh, if I can chime in there, there's this concept called like gas fees that apply on the blockchain, and for different platforms, when the network gets congested, their gas prices will be high. So it'll probably be like $6 in Ethereum in US, my bad, $6 in USD prices in order to complete that transaction, private bidding or even buying that digital asset.
So that's, you said the $6 is taxed, like tacked on top of that overall price.
Yeah, and it's always fluctuating up and down. But some companies have it to where there's like a normal flat rate, and some are variable. It's always changing.
got it. Word.
You can even I just found this out on Sunday, but you can even mint tweets and sell those
tweets.
How
does that work?
So same process as you were talking about before. There's this company. If you go to v.cent.co, cent as in CENT, like the penny cent. You can you sign in with your Twitter account. The website has a Twitter API built in, so you authenticate your Twitter account. You copy and paste the tweet URL. You paste it in there, and then after that, it's on there. And I saw some Gary V some bidders, I bid on one of Gary Vee's for like $11.11 in Ethereum, and like there are all different kinds of tweets. Like Elon Musk had tweets up there that he was selling. Roham, the CEO of Dapper Labs, also the man behind NBA Top Shot, had some tweets up there. Some other digital creators well known in the NFT space had some tweets up there, but I thought it was very interesting. Um,
Do you purchase the tweet, or
so
understand
so
like
what they're
how
selling is their digital signature. So think about if you had a 1986 rookie Michael Jordan jersey, right? You want to get signed by him. This is basically that same concept, just applying on a digital space. So I guess it's you're getting that validation that it's signed by the creator. The creator's acknowledging that, and you now have a digital tweet signed by
you
that
have
author.
the original tweet, not a picture of the tweet, not a retweet of the tweet, but
A
you
retweet
have the
tweet.
digital signature
They're gonna
of the
take it
original.
off Twitter, bro. Like at
I
that point,
to me, I guess it's like a signature. I guess it's like a yeah. I guess you kind of like you said, it's like a signature. Like, oh, like let me get your signature. Like it's not whatever you just found online with their like digital signature. In this point, like it's not like a PDF signature. It's like I got your autograph type joint. Like I have your actual. That's a little crazy thinking about the digital space, but um kind of like I was telling Edom, like what NFTs kind of sound like they're creating a new market. Like they're just creating a new that's what I understood from it, or for that's kind of where I got it. Like like they just kind of like how they crypto was quote unquote like invented. Like they just created a new market, and I think Gary Vee was kind of saying it was like, yo, for example, in this instance, let's talk about like Pokemon cards, right? So say you buy an NFT of Pikachu, level 1, right? In 10 years from now, like remember there's only going to be one of that Pikachu level 1 card. So right now, say you may purchase it for 500. Like, oh, why am I paying 500 for a Pikachu card? But like 10 years from now, no one else, think about it, if you have it, no one else in the world has that Pikachu card, right? So, some dude out there can be like looking to finish his Pokédex, and he's like, yo, I need that Pikachu level 1. I need that digital Pikachu card, and you are the only person in the world who has that digital Pikachu. You bought it for 500, and 10 years from now, you don't know how much it's going to be worth.
I just think it's crazy. NFTs as a concept, because it really just sounds like one of those like I think tech decks and those games and those little like action figures you got out of those
I
25
remember
cent
those.
machines that you would like do at the store or the barbershop or something, and you just hold on to that and they're worth something forever. Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards were a big thing. I don't think that a lot of people really knew about it in 2020, but you got people like Logic and Gary Vee spending like $200,000 on Pokemon cards alone, just for like I used to go crazy with Yu-Gi-Oh, and you'd be surprised at how much some of these cards are worth that you bought for like $5 or $6. Some of them are reselling for like 30, 40. So to me, NFTs is kind of like just something you kind of buy and then you kind of just forget about until you go through everything you own. But I think that's really like interesting, because it sounds like the whole digital space as a whole is something I think that's really gonna grow real, especially now after Tesla just basically co-signed Bitcoin. But I'm hearing a lot of banks and stuff. I don't mean to shift the conversation, but a lot of banks and stuff like Square, they just bought some Bitcoin today, and they said Bitcoin is it's a way of getting wealth back. It's like claiming wealth for yourself. Kathy Wood from ARK Invest said Bitcoin is like assurance from wealth seizure. So I'm not too sure on what that means, but I'm assuming at the end I think in what she meant by that was you might lose a lot, but at the end of the day your Bitcoin hopefully is still there, considering how you lock it up in this time and third. But I guess especially after Tesla did that whole thing about a week ago, you just see a lot of companies and a lot of organizations doubling down and announcing their stake in Bitcoin or their stake in some form of digital currency, which is huge because a lot of people a lot of people, especially the people who like, Bitcoin and Forex, they're always saying, this is going to be huge, this is going to be huge, this is going to be huge. COVID's really changed everything. And then now here we are, like second month into 2021. And if you hit Google, you'll see a lot of banks like SoftBank, Boney Mellon. It's a lot of other companies are allowing Bitcoin to be used as forms of payment. They're letting you buy and sell Bitcoin with their app. So the digital space, to bring it back full circle, something like NFTs, it started in 2017. Who knows? Like you said, many years from now, people are going to say, 2017, this started. I think up to date, I saw somewhere there's been up to about $174 million spent in the NFT space, which isn't a lot if you really think about it. It's a lot, but it's not a lot at the same time.
$1 million?
Yeah.
That's not a lot at all.
It's not a lot.
That's not at all. Yeah.
So it's a great industry, I think, for people to break into real early. Like we talked about in our last episode with Top Figure. Do your research. Look into NFT trends. There's about, I think you said November 2017. So there's almost 4 years of data to look at trends for NFTs. So really just look into what you think might be
valuable.
Valuable, yeah, there you go. Valuable. Yeah. So Pokemon Benson gave was a good example. I think Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Those two I really thought were gonna die by the time we graduated college and everything, but they're still strong, making returns. So stuff like that, I think people should really take a good look into.
Yeah, man, I keep my my Pokemon cards and my Yu-Gi-Oh cards with me everywhere I go. Like whenever I move. Set some context there. What I like about that is like there's so many, there's three factors to it which are super important, right? The first factor is there's an audience around it, and there's more important than audience, there's community around it. You have these players that are obsessed with the product, like they love the art design, they might love the manga, they might love the anime, they might love the video games, they might love the shows or the physical products that come out, or something about that content like attracts them to it. So they have a very dedicated and loyal community and fan base. And then two, I think something that you guys can relate on is opening up the packs, right? I would nag my mom to like buy me packs of Pokemon cards whenever we went to Walmart, and the excitement that you just get from opening up the pack and not knowing what's going to be in there is it just gets your heart racing, because you just don't know what you're going to get, and you might be that one kid, I'm forgetting the kid who was in Willy Wonka, but you might get the golden ticket, and then it's like, wow, I have something of value, and therefore I feel good about it, and that once that dopamine hits, it's like I want another one. And then, then the third element is you can either collect or you can play competitively. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, they both had elements where there was, vast amount of collectors. I would go to the comic book shop every Saturdays back when I was in middle school. And there would be collectors there looking to trade and swap, like filled with binders worth, and you would just flip through. Or you have people playing competitively. And it builds that dedicated loyal fan base, and I think those are things that really drive those products. And then now it's like, okay, how can we do this in the digital space, which brings up NBA Top Shot.
So could you go into the NBA Top Shot? Because I didn't. Yeah.
For sure. So NBA Top Shot, I've been in for about a month and some change now. I'm still fairly new compared to most. A little bit of background behind it. The company behind it is Dapper Labs. They're makers behind CryptoKitties. They also have some other projects in the work with UFC and Dr. Seuss digital assets. Be on the lookout for those. But they started NBA Top Shot around the middle of last year, and what is there's NFTs, but in the digital space, and each pack of cards, because now they sell out. Back then, like early January, late 2020, they weren't selling out how they are now. You buy a pack of cards, and each card contained a different player. And like any card game, if you ever played, or even collectible cards, there's serial numbers to them. You have every card is assigned a rarity to it, and with that, there's also holographic cards, and these cards um, can sell on the marketplace that Dapper Labs has built from anywhere from to $1 to 250 grand, so $250,000. Uh, uh, Yesterday, a LeBron James card sold for $208,000. $208,000. It's absolutely insane. And since it's on the blockchain, right? Like we talked about earlier, every transaction is accounted for. There's no need for a middleman anymore. There's no need for an appraiser. The market determines the price of the card, and each transaction is secure since it goes through the blockchain. And Dapper Labs, they use Flow's blockchain, and it's absolutely incredible. I've been hooked now for the past couple of weeks. After I really started getting more into it, at first I was like, I'm just playing all this. I'll buy a couple cards. I bought a Jimmy Butler card for $1 last month, and now it's hovering around $122. And I was, like, what? Let's see what happens. Jimmy Butler is like one of my second favorite players. Dwayne Wade being number one, but as we all know, the NBA has a loyal fan base in almost every country, and there's millions of people around the world that love basketball. So the past couple of weeks, it's surged in growth and in users, in amount of sales. In the past 6 months, I was reading, there's been $205 million in past sales from NBA Top Shot. So it's absolutely insane. If you think about the flip game, right? How you would flip cards, like Gary Vee's huge on flip game, and he's huge on going to those um
Garage sales.
garage sales. Yeah, he's huge on going to garage sales and the flip life. But now since you know Corona came in last year, it's like, okay, how would you use digitally? So you can flip now on NBA Top Shots. You have a card that you want, cool, hold it for a while, flip it. It's absolutely amazing.
So is it all NBA? So would they be considered NBA NFTs? Is that like what you would call the product or the actual cards? Would you consider them NFTs? And would you just say like those are NBA NFTs? Is that how you describe it?
I would call them NFTs because in a sense they are digital collectible and a digital asset because it does have value. And it's been licensed by the NBA, um, the NBPA, National Basketball Players Association. They've backed it, and now you have in waves. NBA players keep coming in. They keep, tweeting, and fans keep gifting them cards. The first person to hop in a live stream and open up cards was Josh Hart on the New Orleans Pelicans, and he was giving away cards, and people were sending him cards all on his Twitch. It was absolutely amazing. Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat. Let's go Miami. He's like the face of NBA Top Shot. Andre Iguodala, he was an early stage investor in NBA Top Shot. So you have players now who in the NBA we know like players are like the face of the league anyways. Um, and now it's like they have buy-in from Dapper Labs. And so when we talked earlier about building audience and building community, building that loyal fan base, it gets tighter, and that brings people in.
No,
It's absolutely amazing.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I definitely have to look more into it now because yeah, like you said, NFTs just like NBA like basketball cards, like just buy, selling, like you said, like flipping. It's all the same thing, just digitally. It's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it. Like this is the digital age now, but it's all the same concept.
Spread that thing like really, really gave that like a boost multiplier. Honestly, I keep thinking, you mentioned all these things. I really think like, yo, if I had known, if I was sitting in my classroom when we got news that school was going to shut down for the next how long. So I really keep thinking about, yo, if I could at that moment, take everything I own and throw it towards, something or other, I really, life would have been a lot different right now. But it's crazy to just see how like a lot of like, when something like that happens, like COVID and whatnot, and then you see people take to the digital space, it's really crazy. And it's not crazy, but it's the word is like, I guess, profound. How many avenues and streets and roads one can use the internet to make money for. It's not just for gaming. It's not just for social media. I mean, every day I'm learning. Every day I'm learning. There's so much other stuff. Who would have thought? Zoom was about like, I don't know, $100 stock before COVID. Now it's trading at like $400-$500. So it's just real crazy how like there's just so much involved in one simple thing.
And I'm a piggyback off that and kind of change the topic only a little bit, but it just reminds me of, I think we were talking about the other day about like Industrial Revolution or whatever. And like, I remember I think I might have been talking with my mom and you, but anyway, it's a conversation behind with like AI taking people's jobs, right? And it's the idea that like, yo, AI is coming, all these robots are going to be taking over jobs. But it's like, this isn't the first time this has happened where there's just been a type of industrial revolution, if you don't want to, not the exact industrial revolution, but this is not the first time we've had some like technological revolution where, something gets automated and, a different sector starts to come up. And people have been arguing this all the time. Yeah, we're losing jobs like manual labor jobs. However, there is a whole sector of AI, technology, IT that is opening up because of this. You know what I'm saying?
People ain't never gonna be happy. They're gonna be complaining they're losing jobs regardless, whether it be people or AI.
Yeah.
Y'all better get with the program.
For real. But as these digital assets, as these digital lanes, like as these increase, like these are ways to make income. It may not be a job, but like, do you need a job if you're making money flipping? Like this, you can eat regardless. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, when I'm not saying flipping cars is going to necessarily, take over a 9 to 5, but it could, it could. People come up off of this.
122 times his value, right?
That's
how much the car's going for. So imagine you can't buy him, 5 Jimmy Butler cards, but imagine you mentioned LeBron, that's going for 200-something thousand. Imagine when he retires, man. Imagine just how much it's going to be worth. So it's just doing the research.
Exactly. It's just showing you there's new avenues, and like, yeah, jobs are getting lost, which is unfortunate, but there are jobs being created, new sectors being created, new industries being created. And this happened time and time again over history. So this is just another example of a new industry, new sector, that's being created, and there will be people making money off of it. So
if I can add in one more thing, it's still early. It's still relatively early.
Still early. You said 4 years, less than $200 million.
About 17. The number I saw was $174 million.
174. That may sound like a lot, but in terms of the amount of money that's in circulation in the world and type of any other industry, that is not a lot of money at all.
And he said Top Shot had about 205.
Yep, in the past 6 months.
So you throw those two numbers together, that's 383 million. You're barely touching anything.
Yeah.
You're barely touching anything. So.
And that's a lot of few things for you guys. So on that note, so let's wrap up NFTs. Before time runs out, let's cover CCIV real quick. So we are not brokers, right? We are not brokers. We are not financial advisors.
This video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not your broker. I am not your financial advisor. Take whatever I say with a grain of salt and at your own risk.
Same with NBA Top Shot too.
Email and doing that. I want to,
I don't want to hear that. He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear it.
So before I segue into this, the GameStop hearing, they're doing a whole hearing about it to see for, I guess, market manipulation and whatnot. But the hearing is actually starting early March. So I'm gonna try to follow it as best I can, and who knows? Maybe for the next midnight breakfast, we'll have
some updates on
that. But yeah, don't do that. So like I said, anything I in the beginning, all these disclaimers, please play that again when you watch this. Listen to this. Play that again, and don't come to Everybody Eats show for any grievances.
However,
let's talk about this stock. So first midnight breakfast, I talked about Neo, which is, I called it the Chinese Tesla because they're not in the United States. So now I'm back with Churchill. It's the company's called Lucid Motors. The only way to invest in them is through CCIV, which is Churchill Capital.
What's Churchill Capital?
Churchill Capital, great question, is a SPAC. So a SPAC is a special acquisitions company. They're special stocks that are for the purpose of getting companies listed on the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. Rather than going through the IPO process, I don't know what the IPO process is, but it sounds like it's a lot of work if so many companies are turning to SPACs. So rather than going through that long process with all that paperwork, I'm assuming they can go through a SPAC and just merge and be listed on the stock exchange. So SPACs are already on the stock exchange, and what they do is they find a company that
is private,
yes, and wants to come and make that marriage, that union, so they can be listed on the stock exchange. Once that happens, they might change their ticker symbol. So an example of this is, I think the SPAC was IPOB or IPOC. They merged with a real estate company, and now they're called Open Doors Technology, OPEN. So this is just for companies who really just want to skip that process and go ahead with the merger. SPACs are real special they're different from your normal stock because no matter what, they are valued at $10. Their net asset value is $10. So let's say I buy 10 shares of a $10 SPAC. I'm entitled to that $100 I just spent. So let's say the SPAC goes down to $9. If I hit sell, I'm not getting 90, I'm getting the 100. So they're really dope to invest in whenever they're around the 10 to 13 or $15 range. Most you'll lose is between 30 and $50 if you buy 10 shares. And I don't know, they're really cool. To me, they're like I guess they're kind of like penny stocks on roids in the sense of like they're still really cheap and you can make crazy gains off of them. In the case of CCIV, I had a few shares when they were at $14, and now they peaked somewhere around 64 or at 60 or $64. So you can imagine if I had 10 shares or 100 shares or all this other stuff. But back to Churchill, I think that answered your SPAC question. So once they merge, so in the case of IPOC or IPOB and Open Door Technologies, once they merge, Open Door Technologies can now fall below $10, and I won't be entitled to the $10 net asset value because it's no longer a SPAC. It was merged, and now it's a company traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So big, like that's a big stipulation of SPACs. So be careful if you plan on throwing a lot of your money into it. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. So in the case of Churchill, they're a SPAC that's merging with Lucid Technologies. Lucid Technologies is a EV company based in the United States. They have a factory built, which is big because most of these companies, besides Tesla and Neo, are working to get factories and all basically the equipment, together for this stuff. So they have a factory, unlike let me restart. They have a factory. They have this thing called Lucid Dream Drive, which is their AI and self-driving technology, which is basically what one of their big selling points is. So last night, I don't know if any of our listeners have been watching, but they confirmed their merger news. And the issue with these things, sometimes it's SPACs, is people, it's called sell the news. So a stock will shoot up from 30 to, I tell Bensky every day, I give him like update reports on how it's doing. So, it'll go from 30 to 40 to 50. And then all of a sudden, you get the news of a merger and then the stock kind of dies. And these are people just, they hop on the SPAC while it's really low, $13, $15. And if it's, potentially a profitable company, everybody rides the wave, similar to GameStop and stuff. And then once the merger news is announced, they just sell. So people have been paying attention. The market's been really red this week, even towards the end of last week. Everybody's worried about interest rates going up, which would kill everything in the market. But my personal take on CCIVs, I think I personally have some shares I plan on holding. Unlike Neo, they're based in America, which I know a lot of people love, and they're coming at Tesla. The CEO has been making a lot of remarks talking about how Tesla isn't a real luxury vehicle company, that they're a real competitor. So this company sounds very confident in what they're doing. They're very confident in their AI Dream Drive technology, which I don't think I mentioned, but you can it'll self-drive on highways only, not in residential areas, which is the only upper hand Tesla has on this company. I believe one of the Tesla model cars can drive in urban areas.
Yes.
But I think it's still in beta. I think it's still in beta testing. I'm not sure if it's really out. But I still think they're very close to Tesla. I don't have any shares, any whole shares of Tesla. I told Bensky it was a real dumb move on my part selling. But if you have Tesla, you'll notice it's been dying. It was really close to hitting that $1,000 mark, and I think it dropped about 100 plus since then. So Churchill's right. I mean, I see Churchill right on its tail. People have been talking about Tesla can't keep up its current growth. So if you want a competing stock, that's on the up and up, you should definitely take a look at Churchill. It was valued at 60. Now I think it's somewhere between the $35, $40 range. I'm not here to tell you when to buy, but just do your due diligence. Take a look at the stock. Any questions?
None on my end. I guess like some more talking points. Like you said, it is a luxury vehicle. So I guess the difference, or what's real important, is because Tesla, what makes them the difference is that Tesla is supposed to be more of like the common man, right? So they just released a vehicle that's going to be supposed to be valued, or you can purchase it at like 25,000. So Teslas are supposed to be for more like common folk, right? But in terms of EVs, like electrical vehicles, like not too many competitors have gone into the luxury electrical vehicles, right? Even companies like Mercedes Benz, or like some of those already luxury brands who are putting out EVs, they don't have self-driving automation, or they're not like specializing in luxury EVs. So that's what makes Lucid stand out, is that they are specializing in luxury electrical vehicles. That's what makes them stand out. Also, I think their starting price is like $75K for a vehicle, for one of their like lower models. So like even how they're pricing, it's like, yo, this is a high-end vehicle. Like this is a high-end company. This is a high-end vehicle. They're not playing any games with that. And the fact that they do have a factory, that's very clutch, right? Because they can start production sooner than any of these companies who are just based off of projections and what we could do. Yep. So that's a really big move. So I think it's going to be a really big, like long, or a better long-term investment. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want to get into Tesla. Everybody wishes they got into Tesla and it was like 100, 200, $300. You know what I'm saying? So,
Everybody wish they were like me.
Yeah, nah, hey, I ain't say all that. But everyone wants to get into Tesla, or wants to get into the next big thing. Obviously, like you said, I can't sit here and be like, this is going to be the next big company. However, based on the news and the projections and stuff, this company has a lot of potential. So, definitely something you guys want to consider. get yourselves into.
And you always, want to diversify. My personal plan is I don't like to just get one leader in its business or field. So if it's just electric vehicles, I'm not going to sit here and just, only own Tesla. I'm going to, do my research. I'm going to look at NIO. I'm going to look at, CCIV. I'm going to look at Lee or XPEP. So all these other companies, I'm not just going to sit here and do one. So I especially me, I missed out on NIO. I'm going to put my hands in every other pot, I can and literally diversify my portfolio and eat up.
Everybody eats.
Yeah.
Everybody
I feel you on NIO. I had paper hands when I first bought NIO around the $2 range, and didn't know what I had, right? And sold that thing, and now it's like, wow, it's
tragic.
Wow. And I think I think what a lot of retail investors just don't get, or they might have learned the hard way, like I did, especially last month. Oh Jesus, is that you just have to hold for long term. I saw a comment that said, if you don't hold it in the red, then you don't deserve it while it's in the green. So yeah, don't have paper hands, have diamond hands with these valuable stocks, especially the ones that you can see, just still being here and gaining in value for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Like Elon Musk has a whole plan on Tesla. It's not even confidential on his website. He had the master plan of it, and now it's in phase 2 or phase deux, DEUX in French, and it's all available online. I like leaders with a long-term vision. Even when you were talking about that, like having leaders in that sector that you see are going somewhere. I think that's a great strategy to have. And again, no, this is not financial advice, but I think it's advice worth chewing on your midnight breakfast.
For sure.
And the best part is, you take a look at companies like Apple and Tesla. If Tesla does terrible on their earnings, all right, not every time, but there were times where, Tesla and Apple, they both drove the market up because of their upcoming splits. Tesla recently reported their earnings, and they tend to do bad during earnings, and they did terrible during their earnings, and Apple dropped as well because of it. So that goes to say, if, for the most part, if one of these big stocks or big name stocks in their sector and stuff, if they move up or down, for the most part, the other stocks, they're going to move too. So we all, we want to eat, we want to see green. So, hopefully, if you see a lot of green, chances are the other stocks in that sector they're pushing green too. So.
That's a fact. So, on that note, I think that wraps up today's midnight breakfast, right? So we covered NFTs, non-fungible tokens, right? Digital assets, they're all unique. Digital collectibles rather, right? So digital assets, digital collectibles, each one is unique. It's only about 4 years into the game. So something you want to look into. We covered NBA Top Shot. Get yourself an NBA card, right? If you love playing basketball, look into that. Just like NBA trading cards, but digitally. So that changes the game. And then we covered CCIV, Churchill Capital merging with Lucid Motors, luxury electrical vehicle. Definitely once we get more charging stations, they are coming out charging stations. That's another thing too, right? I believe they're supposed to be coming out charging stations. So more charging stations, EVs, like it's here and it's the future, right? So we're not talking about what kind of industry. We're talking about an industry that's already here that will continue to be in the future. So, there's no, reason for you to be skeptical about the whole industry. It's here. So luxury EVs, one is going to be one of the competitors with Tesla. And, you like that. Tesla, they can't be the only ones out there, with EVs. They're probably going to have the most famous one in the name, but they're going to be a bunch of other companies that are coming right after them, like any other car industry and any other industry out there. So, again, not financial advisors. We're just here bringing out some information and some entertainment, right? This is all that purely for entertainment purposes, right? So, that wraps up today's Midnight Breakfast. Emmanuel Perez, thank you very much for joining us. We hope you can continue joining us on these midnight breakfast, current events, midnight breakfasts.
Hey, thank you for having me. These are fun.
And for all our listeners, if you're still tuned in, make sure if you're not subscribed, please, we're asking you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the notifications, be up to date with all the content that we have coming out, current events, brand new episodes, YouTube videos, clips, a lot of new content coming out, right? So you definitely want to be up to date. If you're following us on social media, on Instagram, that's everybodyeats.pod on Instagram. If you're following us on Twitter, that's EBEpod. And if you want to follow us and if you want to subscribe on YouTube, that is Everybody Eats Show on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and share. Sharing is the most important thing.
Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend's phone, grab it.
Your ex's phone, whoever your phone you're going through.
Like a review, comment, share, send the link to their family group chats, they work group chats, they school group chats.
All that.
At home.
All that.
Don't be selfish. Everybody eats. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.